Hi everyone, it's Mitch. It's Thursday, November 13th. Not too much going on today, just three college football games, a free picking contest, the chat room. It's all going on. It's amazing. It's exciting. We had another chat last night during both the games. It was kind of fun. The more people we get in there, there's the more action. It's you don't have to stay for the whole time. Even I left for a little while to do some of my write-ups, and the rest of the guys, they hung out and watched the games together. And some guys don't get ESPN 360, so they were able to update the Temple game. For the guys that were interested in that. And we all watched the Northern Illinois Central Mich game, which was a real dogfight. Real good football game. Pretty much what we expected it was going to be. In any event, still time to sign up for the free picking contest. Still, I'm still getting entries, and it's just getting bigger and bigger every week, and it's fun, to see the growth. I changed the forums up a little bit. In order to be in the forums, now you just need to be registered. It's free. It's easy. I don't have any of your information that you guys enter as far as passwords and things like that, so you don't even have to worry about it. I just want to do it because I'm worried about with the size of the site. I'm seeing a lot more spam comments. I have all kinds of spam blockers and filters and stuff, but those are just getting stuffed to the gills these days, and it's because of the increase in traffic. And it's a good thing, and it's good traffic, more people. This is a community, so it's all about it's really a good thing. We just want to try and keep it as much in our control, keep it as enjoyable as we can for everybody, and that that's the whole point of the whole place in the first place. Let's get to the three games tonight. The first one is going to be, Buffalo is going to be playing at Akron. This is actually a pretty good game. You got two teams with winning records, 5-4. Two teams that are very good against the spread. Two not so great defenses, two not so great offenses, but teams that just managed to get it done. I like games like this. I like them as a fan. I like it to watch the games. I'm on Buffalo. I'm on them small. Thursdays hasn't been my night. Weekdays haven't really been my night because it's pushing me into a lot of games I wouldn't normally pick. And I wouldn't normally pick this one either, but this is actually the type of game that I do watch. And everyone that comes to the site, they know that Jordan is more on the big TV games. I'm more on the under the radar. Somewhere hidden on game plan, Akron is playing Buffalo, and two people are watching probably in the world, some diehard Akron fan and Mitch. So I like Buffalo and the points. They're on my list of teams that aren't going to stink this year. Turner Gill's done a great job. I'm not so sure he's going to be the coach at Buffalo next year. I think he's going to be seeing a lot of good offers, and it's his decision whether he wants to try and build Buffalo into a powerhouse or whether he wants to go somewhere else that kind of has the tradition and all those things in place. Congratulations to him no matter what happens in this game and the rest of the season, because he's done a heck of a job at Buffalo. Let's move on to the Wyoming-UNLV game. This game is really under the radar. I mean, most people aren't even acknowledging that the game is being played. Jordan, I know, didn't pick it. Maybe he'll come back and throw on a video or something where he'll pick the game, or I'm sure he'll be around in the comments and in the forums, and probably maybe even in the chat tonight, talking about who he likes in this one. And the answer on this game is nobody. We don't really like either of these teams because they both stink, and they both have gone on tremendous losing streaks most of the season. They both have had marquee upset wins. For UNLV, it was early in the season against Arizona State. You could say that Arizona State had a bad season this year and is having a bad season, and they are having a disappointing season. But you could also say that the UNLV loss was maybe part of the reason that sent them into this tailspin. For Wyoming, I mean, when you have the 120th ranked offense in the country out of 120 teams, you give up more points than almost anybody in the country. It's just a bad combination. They went into Rocky Top last week. They beat Phil Fulmer's Tennessee Volunteers, a team who has quite frankly given up. I thought that spread was ridiculous at 27 points, but no one expected the outright Wyoming win. Congrats to the Cowboys, congrats on that. But we're on UNLV laying 7. I think there's value here because of that Wyoming win against Tennessee. And last but not least, my Miami Hurricanes are playing tonight. I never get to pick Miami games because that's part of being objective and part about talking to the games, because I'm such a homer when it comes to the Canes. And they're playing Virginia Tech. It's a rivalry game. And the Canes are on next Thursday too, but let's talk about tonight. I am so excited about this Canes team. I've seen it all before, where they take it, it looks like the season is going to start off and it's kind of like, oh no, this isn't going to be good. And then all of a sudden, good things start to happen. All this talent that they talked about, it starts to gel together. They're not like these gangly freshmen anymore. They're a team of football players, and they all run 4.40s, running circles around defenders. Travis Benjamin returning kicks. He's as exciting to watch as any Canes kick returner I've seen throughout the years. That includes Devin Hester, Santana Moss, Ed Reed. The list goes on and on and on. Tremaine Mack. These are all NFL Pro Bowlers at that position. Linebackers, they don't get quite the accolades because the Miami receiving corps, you're gonna hear about Aldarius Johnson and Therian Collier and Travis Benjamin again, and just the list goes on and on about these players that Randy Shannon has recruited. But if you look at these Miami linebackers, which you're gonna hear some accolades, this Sean Spence, he could start for any NFL team right now. I will go out and say that. Marcus Robinson, fantastic player. Arthur Brown, I'm not sure what the deal is with him redshirting or not, but he doesn't really see the field as much. But he's going to be the leader of this linebacking class, a lot like DJ Williams was when he was a freshman, and he couldn't make the field as a linebacker. He played fullback. The next year came back and played linebacker. He played next to Vilma. We all know 34 straight wins later in a national championship. The guy's drafted, in the first round of the NFL draft. And we've seen it so many times with the Canes, and it's such an exciting time to be a Canes fan. And I could really go on and on about him. And, maybe next week I will. But in any event, Virginia Tech, not quite the Virginia Tech team that we've seen in the past. We know that Bud Foster is going to have a great defensive scheme tonight. He's going to try and disrupt the freshmen. And, that's what he does. He gets under your skin. He takes you out of your game, and they're great at it, Foster and Beamer. But I do like the Canes tonight, and I like the Canes to win a national championship within the next 2 to 4 years. And I say that as a fan of the game and not as like some great prognosticator. I say it because I'm a fan of the game first and foremost, and I've seen this before. When you see this level of talent, people can talk about like the USC talent, the Gator talent. Now, these are teams that have lost games in a season. This is a Miami team that's going to run off like a tremendous string of wins at some point. And you'll see because it's all freshmen tonight, and these guys are going to be playing together. And a lot of them have been playing together for years. As many of these freshmen like Ja'Cory Harris and Aldarius Johnson and Marcus Forston, who doesn't see a lot of action, but one of the top recruited players in the country this past year. They all played at Miami Northwestern, so a team that reeled off 40-something straight high school victories in a row. So it's a great time to be a Canes fan. It's a great night for college football. Thanks for joining me. This is Mitch.